This car is an underdog in its segment, but it has shouldered a big responsibility. It's the reason why brand Nissan is still alive in India. A brand that had been written off after their make or break product, the Kicks, imploded. But somehow Nissan found another lifeline, the Magnite. It entered into an action-packed segment with tough rivals like the Tata Nexon, the Kia Sonet and the Maruti Suzuki Brezza, and it did the unthinkable. It found a foothold. It did many things right for that, but what it aced was the price card. It's about 3 lakh rupees cheaper than a Maruti Suzuki Brezza, and in terms of equipment, it's almost as good. And in some ways, you could say it's even better. So you might wonder, what's the catch? Even if you put brand Nissan's reach aside, the Magnite has a catch. It was meant to be a low-cost offering. It was meant to be a Datsun. You can see the Datsun connection clearly in the grille. But the Magnite doesn't look low-cost at all. It looks cool. Probably the coolest sub-4 meter on sale in the country today. It looks sharp and premium, especially with the LED everything up front, which is reserved for high variants. And they have been clever because the tail lamps at the rear look good, but that's all halogen. And it's got a healthy amount of ground clearance, very practical. But despite the body cladding, you get the sense that this isn't trying to be your traditionally rugged offering. It's more urban and modern. So it's not as wide, it's not as tall as its rival, so it looks a bit smaller, but sleeker as well. It's got personality on the inside as well. The aircon vents look racy, the dashboard is uncluttered, the denim-like fabric for the seats and door pads looks trendy. It's also thoughtful and clever. Just look at those controls for the aircon vents, pretty funky. It's also got plenty of convenient storage spaces, which I love. It's also well equipped. It misses out on a sunroof, ventilated seats, and a heads-up display for the driver. But aside from that, it's pretty well equipped. The sound system from JBL is solid, and that digital display for the driver looks pretty funky. It also gets wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. For a family of 4, it is a solid package. It's spacious and comfortable, be it for short or long journeys, for short or tall occupants. It's got a great boot, and with a split folding second row, it adds to the practicality as well. That is a solid win. But there is a catch. The interior is well designed, but it feels like it was finished in a rush. So they put in whatever materials they could get. So there are a variety of finishes and textures for the fabrics and for the plastics. You can see it on the doors, you can see it on the dash, and it keeps the cabin from feeling premium. The infotainment system is slow to start up, and the video feed for the 360-degree camera is really quite poor. And then there are the strange bits. The wipers don't get anywhere close to the top of the windscreen, leaving a wide, dirty band there. Also, commuter motorcycles have better tire pressure labels than this Magnite. Pisaha. The real catch is as you get going. We'd blindly recommend the turbo petrol and CVT combination because it's a great all-rounder, but we'd also have to warn you that this engine at startup will make you think something's wrong with it or something's broken in it. It vibrates that much and it sounds that clattery. The lack of sound and vibration dampening is incredible. I mean, it makes it feel cheap. You can feel the cost cutting over rough roads too when you can hear the suspension thunking. And worse still, those plastics end up feeling cheap because of how much they rattle and squeak. The build quality needs to be better as well. Ironically, the Magnite feels dependable while driving. The suspension can take big hits easily, although with a bit of firmness. The CVT isn't a sign of cost cutting, it's a great solution. It's smooth in the city, happy on the highway, and with the punch from the petrol engine, it's at ease too. It's got a sport mode too to make it feel more peppy when you're in a hurry. Fuel efficiency is acceptable too, with 12 to 13 kmpl expected in the city and 17-18 kilometers per liter out on the highway. If you want something more economical, there's the lower power 1-liter petrol engine, which will demand more from the driver, especially because there's no AMT automatic on offer here, unlike the platform sibling, the Renault Kiger. That engine is best suited for people who want to drive in a more laid-back fashion. The Magnite isn't laid back when it comes to safety. It packs a lot as standard. It has stability control, traction control, tire pressure monitoring system, hill hold, ISOFIX mounts, and the other standard safety features. Yes, it only gets 2 airbags. There isn't an option of 6 airbags, but this is a 4-star rated car by Global NCAP in their crash tests. So it may not seem like it at times, but it is a thoughtfully engineered car. If you're thinking of getting yourself an Underdog, be it this Nissan, a Citroen, or a Renault, think about 2 things. How far away is the nearest dealer? How responsive is the service? Requesting for a test drive is one of the easiest ways to get a sense of this. Friends of ours who've bought Magnites have had issues at the start with loose electrical connections or squeaky brakes, but responsive dealers solved it for them promptly, leaving them as satisfied customers. So, should you save 3 lakh rupees on a Brezza, 4 lakhs on a Sonet and get yourself a Magnite? No. Nissan needed to survive in India, for which they needed to ace the price. They did. While they've managed to create a thoughtfully designed and engineered car, it isn't well finished. And that trades in experience. Its platform sibling, the Renault Kiger, doesn't suffer from rattly plastics, and it has a slightly better tune for the suspension too. The Magnite has its advantages. The cabin is more thoughtfully designed, it has more tempting variants to choose from, and ultimately for me, it just looks way cool. While I respect what this Underdog has managed to achieve, until it becomes more of a Nissan, I will recommend it cautiously.